Ashley before on Twilight, aka Forever Deadward. And we have a good working relationship, I think. I think she's a fantastic writer, so when she came to me and said, you know, I've got this new one I want to work on, will you direct it? I was like, hell yeah. So that's why I think they're going to see a typical story about someone following their dreams and risking everything, and it comes through right at the end despite all odds, and it's not quite that. It's a little more tragic than that, and I think much in the way that I love Into the Woods, and much of the way that some of these like The Labyrinth and some of these darker stories tell themselves, I enjoy the dark lesson in there. I enjoy the, is it worth giving up your dreams, and what would you give up, and should you, and it's walking that line of like, what is worth risking everything for, and at the end, should you have, you know. I'm getting a lot of Sondheim in this when we do it. I think a lot of Into the Woods lyrics in my head because there's a lot of parallels between us. This piece is hard to direct because for a reading purpose, this is what it is. It's a staged reading. There's a lot in the stage directions that are very hard to convey. It's a big piece. There's lots of cirque elements. There's lots of illusion and magic and fantasy, which makes the story still great, but it makes staging it and giving the audience an accurate idea of the way it's going to look on stage kind of difficult, because we can't read every stage direction and we can't do a lot of the magic on stage. So a lot of the magic has to happen in your mind, but I think we tell it well enough that people will be able to see it. Personally, I think the music is amazing, and I'm not a singer, but I love listening. So I love all the music in it. That's one of the more fun parts for me. There's a couple comedic bits in there that I really enjoy. There's a song between the two clowns that becomes kind of a comedic bit. That's one of my favorites. And overall, I think my favorite thing about it is just playing out the moments where people relate to each other and the different ways that you see all different kinds of people represented in the show. The villains versus the good guys versus the clowns versus the assistants versus the normal ordinary people, the way they all interact with each other. I think that's really the fun of the storytelling. Definitely A Long Way From Home, the clown song is one of my favorites. Happy Ending is just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song. Every time I hear it, I love it. So that's definitely one of my favorites. And I really enjoy You Will Belong to Me. It's kind of just the dominant, you will pray to me, so it's so like, and Ryan does an incredible job with it, and it's just so like evilly fun that I think that's one of my favorites too. Normally a reading you would go see in like a rehearsal space or something, and you would have a little piano and you'd have people singing, but this is for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS, and so we're putting it in more of and we have a full band to help really express the music, so we're putting it in more of a theater-y environment, but what to expect here is to come in and see a work in progress. This is one of the first times we're really putting it up on stage and hearing it with a full band, and afterwards there's going to be some work done. We're going to rewrite a couple things, we're going to tweak and tone, but I think it's a preliminary exhibition of the work and where it's at, and I think a lot of feedback is going to come back to us, which is going to be great. I think the performers are really helping us right now shape it as it goes. We're getting a better idea of how it will look ultimately. It will be so not what you're expecting in the best way. I think that's why you should come see it. And it's just beautiful, and I think it will give people a lot to think about. You know what? I've learned from this story, I'm not giving you my soul. You can't have it. I'm keeping it. That's what.